All right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Hope you guys are doing well. This is Prophet John here. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Fed and the Fed that continues to print money because people want to know, when is this crash? Okay, when is this crash happening? And I don't think anybody really knows when the crash is happening. Okay, I know Louise Vogel Sharp was talking about it all last year and into early this year. She's kind of stopped talking about it a little bit. Bill Poloni and others have had interviews and things about when is the crash coming. And then you have other people, um, like Greg, what's his name? Greg Memorino or whatever his name is, and other people out there are talking about that there ain't no crash in sight yet because the Feds keep pumping money into the markets. The QE and the repo system is holding everything up, and they're just absolutely creating debt out of thin air and all this stuff, right? The massive debt is being created on the backs of the United States of American people and the working class, and you can't know about it, and you're not supposed to know about it. Um, Everything is fine, and the economy is the greatest of all time, right? And so, I started to, and I think I talked about it a little bit. I said, well, talking about the crash, and I said, the Fed said something, and I remember that in December, and I make sure I put that in my mind. I said the Fed said something critical. They said they would stop printing in April for a short period of time for tax returns. And so I said, let me remember that, and let me change my mindset to know that we might have to go to April. And so that's that, so that's why I'm not angry about it. Remember in December I was lashing out, for you guys that are on Patreon, Currency 365, or on the Telegram group and stuff. I was lashing out a lot because I was so angry that we're literally doing the same thing that the Obama administration were doing, which was QE1, QE2, QE3, right? And we're doing repo, but it's also QE to the markets. It's liquidity to the banks because they need it badly to survive, and then we're also then sending 35-40 billion dollars a day into the stock market to prop it up. And so I'm like, why are we doing this to our country? Let the country crash and reset itself and come back as a normal trading market, right? With normal numbers, with unrigged numbers going up and down that are unrigged. Remove the red tape, remove all the things that are hindering the markets from being a normal, real market. Release the gold, release the silver. Like, come on, Donald Trump. You said you were going to do this, right? And Donald Trump still might do this. He just might have to wait for his second term when he goes gold back, right? And so um, Donald Trump's like, I'm gonna do it. I just have to wait. I have to wait till I go back to do it. And so Donald Trump's having fun basically. I'm just print money out of thin air and prop it up into the markets and make me look good and make America look good, even though things behind the scenes are really bad. But make America look good in the front, so I can crush these elections and all that. And even if we had a crash, Donald Trump, and I keep saying this, you still will win. You still will win if, regardless if we had a crash, because the crash would not be long. There's a lot of people out there talking about depression and recessions is coming. So no, it's not. Right? No, it's not. And I think Benny even said that the other day, like, that's not coming. I mean, the elites are not telling him that either. And I've been saying it since last year. I said it's not going to be a recession or depression. It's going to be a quick crash and then a quick recovery, because Donald Trump is going to be getting guided with instructions on how to build it back up. Okay? And it was supposed to happen in December. right? The crash was supposed to happen in December. And how do we know the crash is supposed to happen in December? Because the trade deal actually happened, was signed in January. And I remember the prophetic word that we would, we would come back up from America would gain the strength and come back up through trade deals, right? And so that's how we knew that it was so perfect for that crash to happen in December, and they literally pumped the crap out of the markets. I mean, they put out a we did the article, and we did the video about that article here, about 6 trillion in 6 weeks. I mean, they literally pumped the markets to prevent the crash from happening. They had to pump $6 trillion into the stock market from keeping it from crashing. So you can only imagine if you take that 6 trillion out, which is probably now $10 trillion. If you take, since we're in February now, if you take and by the end of this month into next month, and by the time we get to April, or by the time we get to a actual crash, which I believe, which I'm leaning towards, mid March to April 15th time frame, the deadline of the taxes, right? I think it's April 15th is the deadline for taxes. Um, I'm, that month of March 15th to April 15th is when I'm eyeing for some type of pullback in the markets, because if people know that the feds are going to stop printing for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, they're going to get out before that happens. At least the smart people will, right? And then the other smart people will short the market, right? So the key is now as to when will the Fed stop printing? Because if the Feds keep printing, is there really going to be a crash? Not that we know of. Now, if there's some type of plague that comes on, some type of plague or virus that spreads throughout America, and the feds can't get in there, because they're hiding in their homes and stuff like that, and they can't get to their machines and their computers to click another $50 trillion into the markets, right? Then they're in big trouble. Because a lot of that stuff they can't do from their homes. It's not like, and even if they could, the guy would set it up where Mnuchin and all the people who have the ability to print the digital money into the markets, he would set it up where they leave their computers in the buildings, right? And then drops the plague down, and they can't get to their computers, and the markets are crashing, right? And so he would set it up in a way that they can't get to their computers to print $3 trillion out of thin air, into and inject it into the markets. Okay, and oh my God, my computers is at the Fed building, and locusts is everywhere, or the plague is everywhere. I can't get out the house, and you know, and everything is crashing. you know, um, that's gonna be crazy. Now, China stopped their stock market. Remember when things were crashing in China, and then coronavirus was going crazy in Wuhan? China actually halted their stock market, and then before they came back on, they said that, okay, we're gonna pump 1.2 billion won into our markets to prevent it from crashing. And so that's what stopped it from crashing. Because if they didn't do that, and if they had allowed their markets to continue, then they literally would have went to zero, right? They literally would have been wiped out, because everyone was selling like crazy at that time, trying to get cash so that they can buy masks and food and all types of stuff. It'll be the same thing here. Donald Trump might have to literally, if something like that happened, Donald Trump would have to literally halt the markets and close the markets, because everything would be crashing so fast. So yeah, and then Donald Trump will say, come back and say, we're going to put $100 trillion into the markets so it won't crash. Now China only did 1.2 billion won. Donald Trump would do literally $50 trillion, right? So there's gonna be something has to happen where I don't know, something's gonna have to happen where they can't print money, and I don't know what it is. You know, coronavirus came in and it gave a punching chance, and then all of a sudden money was printed. And so it didn't stop the money from being printed. Something is going to happen to stop America from printing money. I don't know what it is. I can't even think about what that would be. Now, even if it's a massive plague and stuff, Donald Trump could literally just shut the markets, the Wall Street down with executive order. And so, you know what I mean? And then come back. And then when things are a little bit better and the markets are opening back, Donald Trump could say, we are going to pump $50 trillion into the stock market to avoid it from crashing. So, you know what I mean? That's not going to work. You know what I mean? Now, could the markets crash before he stops it, right? You know, that could happen as well. Where the markets literally go down for 4 straight days of massive pricing, and then Donald Trump finally says, okay, that's it. Let's turn off the markets. That could happen as well. Okay. That could happen as well. And we will know. We will know if that's going to happen because the prophets will let us know. I will be in touch once the crash, once things are crashing like that. We will be definitely in touch because we need to know when Donald Trump's going to turn the markets off so we can make sure we're out at the peak of the crash, and then so we're not, so then when they do pump the trillions of dollars back into the market, if that even scenario even happens, then we would be out at the top of the crash, and then so we don't lose our money from the so we don't lose any money and any profits from the crash. Okay, so but what type of scenario is that going to be? I don't know, but the thing is to keep in mind is that the Feds told us in December that they would stop printing money in April for tax returns. I don't know when. I'm just going to say anywhere between April 1st and April 15th is when they're going to stop printing. Maybe that 2 week period they're going to stop. I don't know. I'm not sure. But they said they would monitor it very closely. And then if they needed to inject money, they would. But they really don't want to do anything while the end of taxes and tax returns are being given out in that final week. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure that they would have another interview about this, or they're going to have another meeting about it, and we'll find out some more information. But if people, and maybe they'll give us a date of when QE will stop. Let's say they say they're going to stop QE April 1st to April 15th to end taxes, and then start again on April 16th. Then we know that most people are going to be out and sometime in the first 2 weeks, last 2 weeks of March. Okay, so the last 2 weeks of March, the billionaires and people that want to keep their profits are probably going to start exiting because they know that QE is the only thing holding up the monetary system in the markets. And so if you stop it for 2 weeks, people are going to lose 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% of their portfolio. So they don't want that to happen. So people are going to start with like maybe the last 2 weeks of March getting out. Okay, so I need to know that date. If you guys can find it, let me know. Let me know if the Feds actually said the date that they're going to stop. Maybe there's an interview that you guys have seen, and they said the date that, and maybe the April 7th through the 15th, April 10th through the 15th, maybe the April 3rd through the April 5th. I don't know what that date is. I can't remember it. But you guys let me know in the Telegram group, Currency 365 Crew, or you can let me know on Twitter, Currency 365 on Twitter. All right. Let me know if you find out, or if you guys are on Patreon, you can message me on Patreon, of course, Currency 365 on Patreon as well. So let me know if you guys have seen that information, and let me know if you guys have a date or maybe we just have to wait and see if the Feds, do another interview or actually make that announcement of when they're going to actually stop QE. Because when they stop it, that's not going to be the date of the crash. Is probably going to happen before then, because many people are going to know that the Feds are no longer going to be supporting the markets for a couple of days. I got to get out now before that even starts. Okay, so for me personally, that time frame is not when I'm going to be buying the four stocks. It's some more. I'm going to be buying it 2 weeks prior, right? So let's say they say April 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. They're going to stop QE for tax returns, to issue tax returns on a massive scale or whatever the case may be. Okay. Then I'm gonna count 2 weeks prior to that, and I'm gonna be buying the four stocks a lot more aggressively in that time period to get ready for those days that are no QE. All right, so let's see what happens, and most likely. I was told that from some of my friends that the crash would happen in 4 days. So it would be a 4 day window of boom, 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 boom. Okay, boom, 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 4 days. Okay, so that means the Feds need to give us a 4 day window for QE. Okay, in my opinion. Okay, in my opinion, they need to give us a 3 to 4 day window for without QE, and so that would make sense. So let's say they say, April 3rd, April 4th, April 5th, April 6th. We're going to April 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. We're going to stop QE. Okay, so that's 4 trading days. April 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's 4 trading days of no QE. Right. So of course, the sell off would happen before those days, right? So that's the thing. But I think the sell off would begin before those days, but the crash will probably be on those days where there's no support and there's no money pumping into the system. So I don't know. We just have to wait and see how this plays out. But we're at February 10th, and February is not a long month. We only got a couple more days left in February, unfortunately. Actually, we got it's a leap year, so we do got 29 days. So it's not as short as we all thought, think it is this year. And so we do have 29 days. So we still have, at this point, we still have 19 days left, but it's going to go so fast. And then we're into March, and then we're into the end of the 400 years. And, you know what I mean? So that's going to be really critical, because a lot of videos are going to be made about the ending of the 400 years, and so we want to see what happens. Okay, do we see a crash right after the 400 years? Do we see? I don't know what we're going to see. You know what I mean? I mean, do we see the plagues? Right? Do we see the plagues after the 400 years, because the people in Deuteronomy haven't gotten reparations? Anything is possible. Okay, so just watch out, because as soon as the 400 years is over, um, yeah, we're gonna see a lot of crazy things, in my opinion. Okay, so there we go. I'm excited to see what happens in the next couple of weeks in Iraq, couple of weeks in March, and then and because of the Fed announcement saying that they're going to stop QE in April, and because of all the other things that are going on, coronavirus, and some type of new virus is supposed to come out after that. Um, Benny keeps telling us that to look in the sky, something's going to happen. I don't know. So many crazy stuff going on. The Middle East is going crazy as well. The United States troops are starting to evacuate, as my plan was for last summer. If you guys remember my plan for last summer, I'm not going to tell you what the plan is, because we're executing it right now. So hoorah! We're executing the plan. So it's a deceptive plan, but it's a plan that's gonna finish this thing, and it's gonna be awesome. Okay. Yeah, so that's going through right now, and I did a video called on Patreon, which was awesome video I did about the return of the Alawis. For you people that are into Iraq, that's an awesome video. And there's so much other stuff going on, but I'll let you guys go and tomorrow we return to prayer. Okay, so I think some people are like, "What happened to prayer?" We're gonna return to prayer tomorrow. Okay, so we're gonna return to prayer. We're gonna do some forgiveness prayer, repentance. And we're gonna just pray for health and healing and all types of stuff tomorrow. So tomorrow we get back into prayer on this channel. I wanted to come up. We went hard on that for like for a couple of like literally a month. I was like going hard on like prayer and forgiveness and repentance and all types of stuff. So took a little break there, let other people come on the channel. I posted Lana stuff on there with Gary, and some other stuff on there as well. But tomorrow we'll be back to prayer tomorrow, and we'll knock out some of these maybe do some prayer points and some other things like that, and just basically speaking positive things into our lives and breaking curses and things like that. We'll get back to that tomorrow. Peace out. God bless. And if you know when the feds are going to stop QE in April, let me know. Okay, because that's going to be big. And let's count 14 days before those dates, because that's when I think the billionaires and the millionaires are going to start to withdraw some of their money, to get out before the Fed stop printing. Because everybody in the know knows that if the Fed stop printing, this market is done. Peace out. God bless. See you guys later. Eyes open. Bye.